Welcome to the Michael Singer Podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jai Masters. The most real and important conversation that we can have about the mind is as follows. The problem is not your mind. The problem is that you're listening to it. That's the truth. You don't realize that until you get very, very far along on the path. When it starts, it doesn't seem as though the problem is your mind. It seems as though the problem is the world. People, what they say, what they do, how they treat you, everything. That's the problem. Do you understand that? That's where most of you are. No, you're not. You wouldn't have made it here yet. If that's what you think, you're out there doing something. Yeah, wasting your time being in here. Because if the problem's outside, you got some fixing to do. You got some controlling to do. And that's where most people are. They have not looked inside. We'll talk about why. And because they don't look inside, but the inside's a mess, but they don't pay attention to that. They don't know that. They think the outside's a mess. They think it's what people said and what they do and how they treat them and what happened in the past and all that kind of stuff. That's what the mess is. And so if you want to be okay, you have to fix that. You have to get that away. That will make you feel okay. That's your default condition. You're not looking inside. Why? Because the inside is such a mess that you can't live in there. So you have to live out here. That's why people do alcohol. That's why they do drugs. That's most relationships, not all, but many, I'll be nice. Many relationships are based on that. I need someone. How's that? People talk about the difference between a relationship based on love and based on need. You've heard about it, haven't you? What's the difference? If you need something and you're not even defining what you need, just saying, that person, I need them to behave a certain way, I need them to talk to me a certain way, I need them to act a certain way, I need my finance to be a certain way. You need, that word need is really neat. It's the bottom. If you need, that's outside. I need things outside to be what? To be a way that I'm doing better. Well, if you need them outside to be a way that you're doing better, without realizing you just said the problem is outside. Since the solution's outside, the problem must be outside. By changing the outside, solutions happen. By protecting myself from the outside, solutions happen. In other words, the outside is the problem. Do you understand that? How many of you think the outside is the problem? Either the way the outside is now, the way the outside might be later, and how the outside was. All of you think how the outside was in the past is the problem. That's why things are the way they are. That's why I am the way I am. That's all this stuff that happened to me. It didn't happen to me. Everything. I was bullied. It was this. I was that. Whatever it was. I would have graduated with honors, but they wouldn't give me the A+ for my honors class, and so I just failed and didn't get the... Okay, great. In other words, it's somebody's fault. It's outside. The problem is outside. That's the starting position. Okay? Eventually, I always say there's two reasons that you do this thing called wake up. What waking up means is you notice that the problem's inside. The problem's inside. There's two ways. They can be slow, they can be sudden, but two different ways that cause you over time to wake up. One is you have an experience. I don't want to talk about drugs, it's not my business. I don't want to talk about it. But you have an experience that is so elevated, so transcendent, so different. It can only last 5 seconds, by the way, that it lets you know there's something else going on inside. And you look at the contrast between, whoa, I meditated into a state that was so beautiful, but I came back to this. You will inevitably, at some point, be inspired to check that out. It wakes you up. Doesn't mean a lot of people have tremendous wake-ups, gurus touches, this, that, everything, Satori experiences in Zen, and they go back to sleep. But you can never, ever go fully back to sleep. Why? Because you're the sum of your learned experiences. Your mind's the sum of your learned experiences. And you had that experience. Not somebody told you about it. You had an experience. That's one way. And it doesn't have to be some light-shattering thing. Just basically, you had an experience that was higher than what your normal life experience is. That can wake you up. Then there's another one. You go down so far that you can't tolerate it. It's so painful. It's so dark. It's so disturbing. Not that you touch it for 1 minute, but you kind of end out there for a while. They call it the bottom. Some say you have to hit bottom. AA says that, right? Different things say. You're not going to change, hit bottom. Your whole life starts falling apart, et cetera, et cetera. So there is this dark. There's this down. And it can wake you up. Understand that? And you wake up at some point and realize, okay, you haven't practiced discipline your whole life. You've just been messed up all out there. And you realize, I can't go any lower, and I don't want to go any lower. And so you start working on yourself. Both cases, up and down, and anything in between. Because you all have good days and bad days, and some of them stimulate you and inspire you to work on yourself. Okay? So what happens when you wake up? The first level of waking up, in a nutshell, is you look inside, really look inside. Just you notice that it's a mess in there. You notice it's a mess in there. You notice that there's lots of negativity. You notice that there's lots of pain. You notice that it is not right in there. It is not comfortable in there. It's not comfortable outside. It's not comfortable inside. And so it stimulates you when you wake up to say, I don't care what, that's why I don't teach techniques. I don't care what technique you use. I don't care what it is. I just want to know, did you reach that stage where you're looking for a way to get better in there? Not better out there, better in there. Not, I need the outside to fix the inside. To me, that's blasphemy. I need the outside to fix the inside. What are you talking about? You're in there. My house is a mess. I haven't cleaned it. There's bugs all over the place. And I'm the only one who lives there. And when I took it over, it was a very nice place. All right. I need something to happen outside to clean my house. No, you don't. You need to stop making your house a mess. You're in there. That's your house. You understand that? You're the only one that lives in there. Stop for a minute. Take a look. Your mommy's not in there. Daddy's not in there. Ex-boyfriend's not in there. Nothing else is in there except you. Are you in there? First of all, are you in there? Check. Anybody in there? Is anybody else in there with you? No. You're in there. So you get very zen about it. If it's a mess in there, I'm the only one in there. I must have made the mess. And that's your first awakening. And you wake up and you say, I don't want it to be a mess in here. I would like it to be nice in here. Maybe you had a really good experience. I want it to stay that way. You had a really bad experience. I don't want to go down there again. All right? And you start looking for, how can I actually change my life? You change your life by changing what you're doing inside. You can't change your life by manipulating and controlling every single thing that ever happened to you. First of all, the past already happened. You will never change the past. No one has ever changed the past. And the past causes you big trouble. Does it not? Which one do you have trouble with your past? Raise your hands at once. Every one of you have trouble with your past. I don't care whether your childhood or your first marriage or this or that or just anything that ever happened to you in the past. You have problems with it. It bothers you. Well, you can't change that. Can you? You can change your relationship to it, but you can't change what happened in the past. And it's called waking up. It's just a question of at what level did you wake up? If you really wake up, fully wake up, reasonably, you say, hey, I got some work to do in here because I can't change the past. And guess what else I can't do? Totally control the future. All I can do is worry about it. Do you worry about your future? Do you have trouble with the past? Well, then you're in trouble, aren't you? Because you're not going to control the future. You can influence it, but you're not going to control the future. What did the Beatles say? John, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. Okay? Which one of you has the whole thing unfolded exactly the way you wanted it to and the way you thought it would from the beginning? So you can't, this is called waking up. Now you've turned your consciousness inside instead of outside. Doesn't mean you stop working outside. It's a balance. But at least you have turned your attention inside to sit there and say, I got some work to do in here. And that is your spiritual awakening. That's the beginning of your spiritual awakening. Like they have words called a worldly person and a spiritual person. Ever hear those? I don't like them because they're using them wrong. What a worldly person, that's not somebody who has money or has this car or that car. Or that. No, that's not necessarily a worldly person. A worldly person is someone who thinks the answer is outside. A spiritual person is someone who thinks the answer is inside. So now you're not categorizing it all at once to look like something. You can't define it. That's the difference. If you think the answer is outside, have fun because you're going to suffer. Like I said, there's three aspects to outside: the past, the present, and the future. How much do you have control over? You have no control over the past. You have very, very little control over the future. Anything can happen anytime, anywhere, right? And it does. But then there's this thing called the present. Good luck. Why? The present only lasts for a moment. I meet you. I really like you. I try to influence you. But then you go to school and I'm left here by myself. And when you come back, you've had other experiences and you're not looking at me the same as you did 2 hours ago. You cannot control things. You can influence them, but that's a very small influence. I said it to you before. I'll say it again. Maybe you'll get it. The moment unfolding in front of you, it's called the eternal now. There's just a moment unfolding in front of you. The past is not real. It's over. The future is not real. It hasn't happened yet. So the only thing that's real is the moment unfolding in front of you. The rest is mine. The moment unfolding in front of you is the sum total of all the causes that made it be that way. You don't have to be a scientist. There are a lot of causes that made this moment. Why is each one of you here? Why are you sitting where you're sitting? Why are you wearing what you're wearing? There's just trillions and trillions and trillions of causes that happen before the moment that's in front of you that cause it to be that way. Did you cause all those things to happen? So when I say you can influence them, maybe you yelled at her for wearing what she was wearing yesterday. What about everybody else? What about what her mind thinks about? Because you yelled at her. She's very rebellious. You can do it. You don't know anything. There are 700 trillion causes coalescing together to create the current moment. For every moment, the causes change constantly, don't they? Hear a news article. Have somebody say something. Have somebody not say something. Put your glasses down and you can't find them right away. There's 80 billion things that go on to create the moment in front of you. Go ahead, influence it. You're not going to influence it much. You do have an influence. You certainly do. But it's very little. And so basically get to the point where you understand, I have no control over the past. I have really no control of the future. I can influence a little bit, but even less than the present. The forces that cause the future haven't even happened yet. At least the ones that are causing the present, 7 billion of them for 13.8 billion years. And so you sit there and you realize, what am I doing? I'm not going to be okay with changing the outside. If I want to be okay, I'm in here. Maybe I can make it nice in here. That's where I live. How much influence do you have over like in there? You won't like me to tell you 100%. You're not ready to hear that. We'll talk about it. Why? You're the only one in there. You say it's my mind, my emotions. Well, they're yours. They're not mine. Yours are not mine, are they? You don't have control over what I do, but they're your emotions. They're your thoughts. So ultimately, they're yours. That you could potentially be able to work with. So if you're going to be okay, you reach the point spiritually where you wake up and realize, I got some work to do. And it's inside. We haven't talked about how to do it. I will talk about that tonight. But you have work to do inside if this is not a way that's comfortable to live in, and you know it's not. And I know it's not for every one of you. Why? You're busy out there trying to make stuff be the way it will be comfortable. Trying to find the right person, have them say the right thing, and wear the right thing when they go to your parents, and not do what they shouldn't say when they're at your parents, right? You got to manipulate that thing out there so you can feel better. What does that mean? You're not okay. Are you busy trying to make things be a way that makes you be okay and not be a way that make you feel bad? That means you're not okay, doesn't it? What they forgot to tell you, are you ready? Your natural state inside Your natural state inside is ecstasy. Because Satchidananda, eternal conscious joy. Not somebody else's natural state, your natural state. No matter what you've ever done, no matter what you will ever do, it is your natural state. Just like light is shining on an object. If the object breaks, the object gets old, the object rots, the object is repainted, it don't change that light. Not one single iota. And never did, never will. You are the light of awareness, of consciousness that lives in here. And you are Satchidananda, your eternal conscious joy. You are indeed God descended. Not your ego, not what you're looking at is not God descended. The one who's looking is God descended. That's it. Christ said the kingdom is within you. It is the consciousness itself. That is the kingdom. And it's filled with joy and light and freedom and ecstasy and nirvana. That is inside of you right now. Okay. So now I've come inside. I woke up. I'm on a spiritual path. Beautiful. I don't care which one. You woke up enough to realize this in here is the problem. Outside influences it, no question. I don't have to give up on doing things that make me feel better reasonably. We'll talk about that. You're not renouncing. You're just working inside. That's all I can tell you. You woke up enough to say, okay, yes, I get distracted outside. Yes, I like this. But when said and done, here, you have a meal you really like. There's a dessert. There's a pecan pie. You just love it with vanilla ice cream. Great. You're going to get to have it. Oh, I'm excited for an hour before or 10 minutes before. I sit there and eat it. It takes me 15 minutes to eat it. Then something's going to go wrong. It doesn't fix anything. It just makes you feel better for a moment. In truth, I don't teach it that way. I don't say it makes you feel better. It distracts you from yourself. It distracts you from that mess inside. And then you feel a little bit of who you really are because you're not focused on the garbage. That's where joy comes from. That's where worldly joy comes from. Just keep running, keep developing, keep creating, stay ahead of yourself, keep something going. Go to a movie, have it be fascinating, unbelievable. You just feel so inspired and so wonderful. How long does it last? Okay, it's over, you win. You saw the movie. No, I don't think so. It lasts very little time. Better go to another one. So the outside can't fix the inside. I'm just statement. The outside can touch the inside, influence the inside, affect the inside. Of course it does. Can it fix the inside? Absolutely not. Ever. It can never, ever make the inside totally okay. People understand that. I dealt with some very old people once. I really love what they said. I'll never forget. She said, her husband died after, 60 years, 65 years, 70 years. They got very, very young. I said, how are you doing? She said, oh, I'm not doing well. It's amazing. Irving was the meaning of my life. Now that he's gone, I feel the same as I did before I met him. You think that's romantic? That's very sad. You spend 70 years together and it's still in there? The same impulse and needs that made you have a nice life with Irving? The minute he's gone, boom, you're right back down there. Do you understand that? You want to talk real. I'm not saying not to have a 70-year marriage is wonderful, but understand it did not fix what was wrong to start with. It did not fix. I feel lonely. I still feel lonely now. I felt lonely before. I need someone to take care of you. I didn't need someone to take care of before, right? You just see. The outside cannot fix the inside. There. You're going to see that. You're going to see that eventually. So what do? You work on the inside. How? What do? I don't know what to do. That's where most people are. So somebody gives you a mantra, somebody tells you to go to Himalayas, somebody tells you to quote the Bible exactly, right? It's like they'll just give you something and say this will make you better. There's real work to do in there. Just like any work. If you go to an engineering project or anything, you need to understand what's going on. You have to understand the problem, not just think about a solution. Why are you not okay inside? Now that we admitted we're not okay inside, now that we see we're not okay inside, now that we see the problem is that I'm not okay inside, why am I not okay inside? I love it. Thank you for asking. Yogananda called meditation entering the laboratory of soul research. But I don't limit it to meditation. Life is entering the laboratory of soul research. You can learn about yourself. You can learn why it's not okay in there. How? It's so easy, it's ridiculous. Just watch it not get okay. Watch your boyfriend dance with one of your girlfriends a little too long. See what happens inside. Why? Somebody else sees the boyfriend dance with the girlfriend, their heart melts. Here are my two favorite people and just loving each other. That's so beautiful. Yes or no? So why did yours create jealousy? And why did yours create that? Do you hear me? There's answers to that. You had a relationship previously and you got dumped. And somebody ran off with somebody and you weren't watching. You trusted. Well, you're not so quick to trust anymore, are you? You look twice from now on, don't you? So what does that mean? You have to get quiet to see what it means. Doesn't mean don't have a relationship. It doesn't mean hate your jealousy. It doesn't mean it means something. It's so simple that you don't see it. It means something from your past left an impression on you, and now you're acting from that impression. That's where all of your preferences and psychological fears and all that stuff come from. You had experiences. Many of them were not so nice. How about most of them were not so nice? Even the tiniest little thing, somebody said something, somebody didn't say something. 300 people showed up for your party, but one didn't. And it bothers you? Yes or no? It's like, wow, here you go, and you're going to try playing a song for a bunch of people, and every one of them clap except one person just sits there looking down. I guarantee it bothers you. Catch on what's going on. You have been programmed by your experiences to feel and think a certain way. Do you know that? Did you ever see that before? Do you understand that? Don't say it's just the way I am. It is not just the way you are. You've had experiences and they left these impressions on you and they're bothering you. They run you. They decide what you like and what you don't like. And well, when you get jealous, I can't list all the things. You're in there. Do you notice? Do you notice that your past is affecting how you think and feel in your present? Anybody? You know what Freud said? Things happen. You suppress them. What does that mean? You stored them. Where? I'm telling you, you're storing them in your heart. You store them in your energy flow. And then they stay there. And then they pop back up all the time if anything reminds you of them. And then you decide, well, I don't want this to happen because I don't like to feel that. And the next thing you know, it's running your entire life. It's determining who you live with, determining what's happening, determining every single thing, what job you could take, everything. Your inside is not what you think it is. What it is from a yogic point of view, from a spiritual point of view, and I've done this for so many years, you'll come to the point where you see it so clear. There is energy flowing inside of you. If it is free to flow, you feel wonderful. Just Shakti's pouring up your being. You feel inspired. Oh, everything's wonderful. But if you store one thing inside that energy flow, it's like taking a rock and putting it into a clean flowing stream. The stream just flowed beautifully till you put the rock in. Then what happened? Eddies and currents and sprays. You're there, you're happy as could be. Somebody walks by and doesn't say hello to you that you thought should be saying hello. You're not feeling so good, are you? That's the rock. Something went in and you held it in there. When you see that person the next day, either you avoid them or you ask, why didn't you say hello? It's a day later. Somebody walked by. We are that way, aren't we? So you stored this. You in there decided. How many people walked by that you didn't know? 100. Some people walked by you knew. Well, that's fine. But this person walked by that you thought should say hello. You did that. You decided in your own little mind that that thing is not okay the way it is. Do you do that? And because it's not okay the way it is, you stored the pain that you created. Everybody else walked by, there was no pain. And so basically you stored this in the past. Now it's causing this to come up and you push it back down and you now have all these problems. There are no problems. Hey, look at me. There are no problems. There are only experiences that you decide you like and don't like. If something happens outside, you decide you like it, how you doing? If something happens, the exact same thing happens outside, you decide you don't like it, how you doing? Why did you decide you like it? Why did you decide you didn't like it? Because of past experiences you had that you did like or didn't like, and this reminded you of those, and therefore you like that. I like that color. I like this person. I like this and that. You have stored this stuff inside of you from your past, and it is now determining how you feel. And basically, you have bought into it 100%, and now the only way you know how to be okay is to do what that stuff tells you to do. Well, why is my mind such a problem? Because your heart is a problem. Because you stored this garbage in there, it is going to express itself through your mind. If you were able to get back far enough and watch your mind, you know what you're going to see? That's that stuff talking. Why did he do this? Should I say something? I don't know. I'm so scared. I said something once before and I got so upset and everybody got upset. What is all that garbage talking in your head? Why is that voice going on in there? Because you stored this stuff down there. And the Shakti's trying to flow through it, and it can't. It hits the stuff. And whatever stuff it hits, the eddies and the spray from that stuff come up and express themselves in your mind. I just talked to you about I'm talking voice in your head. I always talk about that. All right? Do you have this constant dialogue going on inside your head? Watch it. Watch what it's talking. I'm not talking about your intellectual math and this and that. I'm talking about your personal dialogue that's going on inside all the time. What I like, what I don't like, what people should be doing, why did that happen, what should I do about it? That is going on all the time. Should I change jobs? I don't know. This person didn't pay respect for me. He wasn't very respectful. Yes or no? Do you have that going on in there? Is it fun? No. It's a problem. And it's in there because you stored that stuff in there from your past. And it comes up and talks in your head. How do you know? Get rid of that stuff that's in there. It gets quiet inside and it gets very nice inside. But most people, they don't try to get rid of it by getting rid of the cause. They try to get rid of it by changing the outside to match what it says it wants. If all of a sudden it's talking, saying, I don't know if I should go on vacation, I want to go, but if I have the job, I might get fired. I don't want to get fired. What am I going to do, all right? And then you try to decide and solve and check the finances and try to find out whether your boss will bother. You understand that? You're trying to do what it tells you to do, so you think you'll feel better. I don't always have the best examples, but you do. Yes or no? I'm going to give you examples. I'm telling you, it's going on 100% of the time. It's called the personal mind, not the intellectual mind, the abstract mind. That's a beautiful thing. The personal mind is the part of your mind that is the result of those, we call them some scars, patterns that you stored inside. And what are you doing about it? Try to see what it says you should do to make it better. The very thing that's causing all the trouble, you're going to that mind and saying, well, what should I do about it? I don't know whether he really still loves me. How can I find out? Maybe I should hire a private detective. No, that wouldn't be very nice. I don't want to be like that. What is all that going on inside your mind? Because you have these fears down there, because you got dumped before, because somebody cheated on you. Yes or no? This is very important. Now that you've turned your attention inside to see that the problem's in there, you have to make sure you're fixing the problem, the cause, not the effect. All that noise in your mind and all that's the effect of the problem. The problem is you stored this garbage in there throughout your life. Every single day of your life, you put junk in there. And it comes back up the next day. I'm trying to sleep. You can't even sleep. You dream about it. Why? Because you stored it in there. To me, it's so easy. It's stupid to talk about. But I know that people don't look down there. First of all, they're looking outside. Then, okay, they look inside and say, okay, I want to be more spiritual. I'll do this. I'll do that. I won't swear. I'll wear white. And basically, you're not looking in the right place. You got to look down a little further. Where are those thoughts coming from? They're coming from the stuff you stored. Literally, it's coming from the Shakti, that beautiful energy, coming up, hitting your stuff, and then expressing itself in your mind. And it's a mess. And it's a royal mess because you got a lot of stuff down there. And the only way you're getting free is not to compensate for what's down there. Mommy mistreated me and so on. So what I'm going to do is be the best mother that anybody ever had. You're going to end up, your kids will be screwed up. Your kids will be screwed up because the motive for your behavior is the mess you stored downstairs. No matter how good it sounds, isn't that why you're doing it? Or I'm never going to get married. My parents got divorced. It was so painful. I don't ever want to go through that. I don't want any kids to go through that. So I'm not going to have kids. Beautiful. Congratulations. Mazel tov. You just let 35 years ago make decisions in your life, who you were when you were a 5-year-old. But you think it's reasonable. It's not reasonable. Why? That stuff shouldn't be down there. Now we're going very fast into deep spirituality. There's no reason for what happened to you 30 years ago, and it's not happening anymore, that it's down there bothering you. Is there? No one ever told you that before. They all said, well, you don't understand how my mother was in my family, but no, and it was this terrible thing. My stepfather. Right. Okay, when was the last time stepdaddy did anything? 22 years ago. Then why is it down there? I'm challenging you. It doesn't make any sense, does it? It makes no sense. Why would I have that down there? Especially when it tries to come back up. What do? You push it back down. I don't want to feel that. Don't talk like that. Don't talk about stepfathers. I don't like stepfathers. They're no good. I had a direct experience with a stepfather. I know what I'm talking about. You had one experience? You have experience with one stepfather? How many stepfathers were there ever? And you tell me you know something? You sure know a lot about stepfathers, don't you? What about boyfriends, girlfriends, teachers, this, that, all kinds of stuff? You did the same thing with everything. You couldn't handle it, so you pushed it away. I'm not blaming you to not handle it. You haven't evolved enough yet. You weren't ready. It happened? Yes. Check. Happened. You couldn't handle it? Check. I couldn't handle it. I suppressed it. Check. I suppressed it. What does that mean? I pushed it away. I didn't want to feel it. I did everything I could to have it not come all the way back to where I live, back in here. I pushed it down. Does it stay there? Of course it stays there. Why? Because you keep it there. And you just, when you wake up, you start realizing how much Shakti, chi, energy am I using to push that down there? A lot. How many have you stored? Every day throughout your life. I'm telling you, you are holding that stuff down there. And that's where the vast majority of all of your chi and Shakti and energy, life force goes to push that down there. All right. I just said something very serious to you. Do you know that? Or you think it just stays there by itself? How come it keeps coming back up? How come it feels terrible when it comes back up? Doesn't it? As scary as could be, you do anything to not have it come back up. Because it's down there. See, it was stored with pain, it's coming back with pain. But you ain't letting it come back. You didn't let it come back when it started, you ain't letting it come back now. So all the energy, imagine how much energy, inner energy it takes to push all of that down there and keep, wow. The majority of your energy is used for that. Well, where's the rest of it go? A whole nother bunch of it goes trying to manipulate people, places, and things so they don't bring that up. So they're not the way you don't want them to be. How'd you decide what you want them to be? Right there, your program. So now your whole life is that, all built upon that. All right. So now we're getting down there into these levels of depth, of being a deep person. So what do you do now? It takes time. I don't make it sound like it happens in a few days or something. You devote yourself. Oh, I was like, I want to cry. Instead of devoting yourself to manipulating the outside world, so be the way to distract you from yourself, even though you're a mess inside, or stepping inside and say, oh, I have to fix this. There's something wrong with my mind. No. That's too surface level. You eventually come down and say, oh, I stored that stuff. And I keep storing it every day. Anytime something happens to the driver in front of me, it's too hot out, I drop some ketchup on my trousers. Somebody said something that I'm not sure what they said, but I don't think I liked it. You're doing it all the time. You haven't learned not to do it. So you're storing more and more in there all the time, plus the deep stuff that's in there from before. And so what do? This person at this level of spirituality, they're not thinking the outside is going to fix them. They know it's not going to fix them. Nothing controlling the mind and doing stuff, all right, and moving somewhere to make it nicer inside. It's not going to work. You just keep having problems. They have woken up to the point of saying, okay, I see the problem. The problem is I'm storing the stuff inside. The problem is I stored the stuff inside. Okay, what do? Get it out. Get it out. How much? All of it. If it were all out, your picture would be on that wall. I'm not kidding. If it were all out, all your Shakti, this tremendous the highest you've ever felt in a moment of love, in a moment of winning the lottery, of everybody clapping, the highest you have ever felt, multiplied times 1,000,000, and that's going on inside of you all the time. That's where Master is. Why are you not there? Because you have this stuff in there, and that's the only reason. That is the only reason. So you start devoting your life to what really matters, getting that stuff out. If I can get that stuff out, my life will be phenomenal, and so will everybody around me. Imagine being the presence of a being that's emanating all this love and light all the time, no matter what happens, anybody, nothing can touch it. It's unconditional. It's coming from inside. Again, I'm a nice Jewish yogi, but I love what Christ taught. What does he say? Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaves the mouth of the Father. A yogi knows exactly what that means. You don't live off what's coming in from outside. You live off what's coming in from the Shakti, the porous spirit from inside that's feeding you all the time. Once you start feeling that flow, you understand just what he's talking about. How would you like to feel that all the time? You don't, only because you blocked it. And so you start literally saying the meaning of my life, every moment, is letting go of this stuff. First, don't put more in. What's the purpose of getting rid of it and put more in? Just start with the easy stuff and watch yourself all day. It's called witness consciousness. And notice you just shove that thing down there. You didn't even not like what he said. You didn't like what you thought he might have said. How did you decide what he might have said? Your mind made it up based on your past experiences. It just decided that this person doesn't like me. Why? Just look how they're standing. Look at they're looking at other people instead of me. You can't let your mind do that. Everybody's standing there and no one's getting it. But you had some experience in the past, but before somebody broke up with you or did something, were looking at you weird, or they were sitting with body language, crossing their third chakra. And so now you project that out into the thing you're experiencing right now, and you're saying you're caught in a loop. Your mind has all this stuff from the past, then it interprets everything you see based on that, and then it believes, I don't know, I hope somebody gets this. It's a mess in there compared to how it should be, can be, how compared it really is. You don't have to live like that. You do not have to live like that. But what if really, really bad things happen to me? You do not have to live like that. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But I'm not going to talk about those right now. I'm going to talk about the daily little stupid things that you let bother you. Oh my God, he said he would call. I'm waiting for delivery. It's been an hour. He's wasting my time. And what are you doing? Do a mantra. Have fun. Enjoy your hour. You're going to wait anyways. No way. I'm going to do this thing called complain. You will reach the point in your spiritual journey where that might as well be a 4-letter word. There is nothing spiritual about complaining. Nothing. Complaining is, I got stuff inside of me and it's making me not like stuff. And I'm going to let you know about it. And the you doesn't have to be somebody outside. I'll let you in there know. I don't put up with this. I don't like this. I don't want that, right? All complaining does is reinforce your right to be screwed up. Do you want to justify the garbage inside of you? Now I'm going to get real with you. I love you. You don't understand. I know who you are. You're so capable of such great. Do you want to justify your mess? Because if you justify it, you're welcome to keep it. Because that's what you just did. You said, I have the right to have this mess. If you have the right to keep it, you're not going to let it go. And we just go through saying that letting it go is what it's all about. So you don't justify. Somebody, a master, a guru I knew once said, no blame, no shame. You're not blaming other people, and you're not shaming yourself. You're just letting go. Just get it over with. Do you want that stuff in there? Now that I give you a nice talk about what's in there, hey, is what's in there, isn't it? So you just decide. Now we're going to talk about the real growth. Now you're down there, and you're caught on. As pure as we can see in your eyes what level you're at. Are you out there doing the outside? Have you just woken up to say, oh, there's an inside? Or are you dealing with the cause of every problem you have, which is that stuff stored inside? You don't understand it. If you don't have that stuff stored in there, and you feel this constant flow of love and unconditional well-being, and you lose all your money, it's funny. Why? You didn't need it. It had nothing to do. If somebody in a relationship does something that's not so nice or a thing, it does not cause you down. The up is so strong that you look at it. You may not stay in the relationship, but it's not out of pain or fear. You're just making rational decisions. There's a thing called unconditional well-being, transcendent well-being. It is transcending that garbage. That's what's being transcended. It is not going to go away by itself. You have work to do. But it's really funny. All right, I'm going to spend some time here. I never do it. The work's not as hard as you claim it is. Why? Do I need to go down there and find what everything did that caused all this trouble down there? That is not my experience. I've been doing this a long time. My experience is as follows. You go into life, which of course you're going to, and it's going to show you where your stuff is. Don't worry, you don't need a therapist. You can use one, but it is going to show you throughout the day where you got issues. All right, just work with that. That's all you have to work with. Life is on your side. It's your guru. You know what life is? Michelangelo standing in front of a solid marble block that looks like nothing with a chisel. He's got a chisel. And every moment of every day, you're the block of marble and he's God. Chip, chip. And you're going, ow, ow, stop it, ow. And all of a sudden you see David's arm coming out of the marble with the Divine Mother holding Christ. And you realize at some point, oh, that's what's happening. Because that is what's happening. Life is your friend. It will hit your stuff. Have you noticed? You're going to spend the rest of your life trying to protect yourself from it? Or, okay, I'm going to learn to be comfortable with the process of becoming this beautiful, beautiful being that God is creating out of me by chipping away the garbage that's not needed that I stored down there. That's when you're working at a very, very deep level. You're running out of time. Yogananda, when people moved in the ashram, he had them read only his books, his material. It's not an ego thing. It's just you can have one teacher, with one exception. There was this poem. It's called The Hound of Heaven. Okay? I don't remember the whole thing, but I remember a little bit. And it's a story of a regular person who throughout his life is trying to get away from the problems that life has. And at some point, every step when he's doing that, a voice will echo out of the heavens saying, no one will harbor thee who will not harbor me. And he kept going, he kept thinking, and the end of it is just so beautiful. He said, the Hound of Heaven, like a dog is running after him. That's it, the Hound of Heaven, running after the guy. And he keeps running away and hiding. And at the end, it says, I've reached the end. I'm cornered. I've been completely cornered. There's no place to run anymore. I'm so scared. He's got me. And then he says, oh my, could it be the darkness I was running away from my whole life was the shadow of the hand of God reaching down to pick me up? That is what's going on, okay? And it is your garbage stored inside that God is trying to take out, and you won't let him. You just keep messing your life up to run away from purification. And eventually it gets to the point you won't be able to do it all at once. All right? It's pretty serious stuff. You got that stuff down there a long time. You've been avoiding it your whole life. But little by little, you do the small stuff first. You start letting go. As I teach letting go. You start feeling resistance. If somebody says something, relax. It will come up over time. It will cleanse by itself. What is supposed to come up will come up when it's ready to come up. What is not supposed to come up will not come when it's not ready to come up. Pieces will come up by themselves. Situations will come. Books will show up. A person will show up. Teachers will show up exactly when they're needed. And you realize, you look back and say, oh my God, if life had not brought me that, I wouldn't be able to handle this. And you realize it is God untying the knots of your samskaras, little by little, and it takes care of itself if you let it. But you don't let it. Why? Because you don't really want it. You know, it's painful. It's hard. So what you do is, and it's a terrible thing, but you do it, is justify your stuff. You justify your stuff. I have the right to feel this. I have the right to be upset. I have the right to have problems. I have the right to have problems. Anybody would have problems. Yes, fine. You want to have problems? Have problems. Instead, you sit there and say, yes, I'm not done, but I'm going to work on it, and I'm never going to blame anybody else, ever. Never, ever will I blame anybody else. And I'm not going to blame myself. No shame, no blame. Why am I not blaming myself? A child doesn't know things. If you're learning the piano, you don't know how to play. How do you blame yourself while you're learning? Life is a learning process. You never blame yourself if you're willing to learn. You never blame anybody else. If you realize every experience I go through and have gone through, I can use for my benefit. If I don't complain and justify and rationalize, no. Just relax and let go, relax and let go. And eventually you'll get to the point where your relationship with your mind is as follows. Intellectual mind, fine. Use it by all means. Right? Your personal mind, you realize you're talking. I don't need to be listening because what you're saying, I don't need to be dealing with because all you're doing is expressing the garbage. I understand. Well, I'm not done yet. So you're complaining. Fine. I'm not going to fight with you. But you start realizing that's not where the work is. The work is not changing your mind. The work is down here where the cause of mind is. And as you let it go, I'm telling you that Shakti, I want you to live there. I want you to know what it's like. That every moment of your life, from the moment you wake up in the morning, even though you're dreaming, sleeping, where there's just joy. There's just pure, unconditional joy pouring inside. Even when terrible things happen, even when you're sick, even go to hospital. And there's fun, go to hospital. Is it fun in the sense that is the body sick? No, but you're okay. You're not your body. You're the consciousness experiencing your body. You're not your mind. You're the consciousness hearing and experiencing your mind. You're not your emotions. Your emotions do not have to be filled with everything's the way I want. They can be, oh my God, what's going to happen? And you can have fun with it because you're not it. The light of consciousness can shine on anything and it's transcendent. So you don't not feel it. You're just okay feeling it. Fine. Haven't you noticed things come and go? Who's noticed things come and go? Most of them in small period of time, but other bigger period of time. So what do you care? It's everything I teach you all the time. That's why I try to take you out into space. You're on a tiny little planet. You know how small the planet is? 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. Do not look at me as if that's not important. What does that mean? There ain't squat going on that makes any difference. 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. How many suns are there? 300 billion in your galaxy. And you care what's going on this stupid planet? Is it small? Is that thing floating out there in the middle of nowheres? And you're going to let it ruin your life, what goes on? That's ridiculous. You can still come down and play. You can come down and work with things, make them better. Of course you're supposed to. But how could you take it seriously? How do you take seriously 1.3 million Earth-side planets fit inside the sun? And the sun is one of 300 billion stars. Go the slight distance away. There is no Earth. No one ever heard of it. The whole thing blew up and nobody would know anything about it. Do you understand? And you just decide, I'm going to free myself. I'm going to work my way out and nothing's going to stop me. Not the least of which, the garbage I stored in there. All right. Now we had a nice talk about mind, didn't we? We talked about the layers at which you work with your life. I want to see, I know you're not free. We have a lot of work to do. We all do. But I want to see that the pole star of your life, that the intent of every moment of your life, and don't ever forget it, is getting free, is getting the stuff out of here. And like I said, you stop complaining, you just start accepting, life unfolds, it hits my stuff, opportunity to let go. Life unfolds, hits my stuff, opportunity to let go. Tiger death.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.